Good morning, English language learners. I am Arham, and today we'll be looking at a vocabulary lesson called Growing Up. So, growing up and aging is something I think we are all familiar with. It is an inevitable process, which means that it is something that we all must face eventually. Sometimes things grow in a productive, beautiful, and positive way. For example, when things grow and flourish, when things blossom. However, things can also grow in a counterproductive manner or in a negative way. So they can deteriorate and they can rot. So today's lesson is all about these ideas, growing up. And what you will have with you is a worksheet which is also part of this lesson. So please, you should download it and print it out before you start listening to the remainder of this video. So I have it here with me. Here it is. I will be going through it with you and we can see what exactly it entails and what exactly it demands from you. So the first section talks about the words, the main words for growing up that we will be looking at. Now, in a way they are similar, but in a way, if we appreciate the nuances in these words, we will see that they are quite different as well. So the first word is to develop or developing. The second is to advance or advancing, aging, blossoming, evolving, mellowing. I like the word mellow because it does have multiple meanings, but one of them is that when as time passes, you are changing into a calmer, more stable, more gentle being. So you're mellowing. Then we have the word growing, and lastly a word related to plants, which is also, for that matter, blossoming was also related to plants. And again we have this word sprouting. So sprouting usually comes from the idea of something happening, some change taking place quite quickly, or aging happening quite quickly. So the first exercise is that you just look through these words that you have, consider them, see what perhaps are the differentiations between the words, and also now you have to brainstorm certain words that you think have similar meanings to the idea of growing up or aging. And then part B is that you will arrange these words in an order. Now, the order is up to you. For example, you could say very positive words, positive ways to develop, and at the bottom could be more negative ways to develop. You could use the words provided, you could use your own words as well. You could either put at the top of the ladder the idea of fastest growing, and at the bottom you could talk about slow aging. And in that way, you can try to assemble the words given from your brainstorming or from the ones that are given from the word bank and put them into some sort of order. Alright, part C is just very basic fill in the blanks, which will help you to more clearly ascertain which word perhaps is better suited for which kind of usage. Part D are sentence stems, and all this is that you have a part of a sentence which uses the word, uses one of our words, growing up words, and you would need to fill the sentence out or complete the sentence. Part E is making sentences from your own mind, from your own understanding. Part F is rather interesting. It says here you're not a kid and you're not an adult. So we're somewhere in limbo, we're somewhere in transition. And it asks you to explore your feelings of what does it mean to be a kid, what does it mean to be an adult, and what does it mean to be stuck in this transitory period, where you are half adult and half child. So this would be an interesting exercise in self-exploration as well, and you can make use of some of the words that have been provided. Of course, you can use any other words as well. Part G talks about literature. There are many famous stories in which fictional characters have had to deal with similar emotions, similar conflicting emotions of having to grow up and then wanting to remain a child, wanting to retain the status quo, not wanting to grow up too quickly, and things like that. One very famous character that comes to mind is Peter Pan. Perhaps you have heard of him. He's the boy that never aged, and he just wanted to remain a boy forever. He wanted to be immortal, firstly, and secondly, he just wanted not just to be immortalized or live forever as an adult, but he preferred all the perks of being a child. So in your exercise, you have a reference to Christopher Robin and how Christopher Robin explored and experienced his childhood with the help of these friends of his. We have Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, we have Eeyore, Roo, Rabbit, and so on and so forth. So it would be a nice idea that in this time that you have, in this spare time, you can look up on the internet or read a story of Winnie the Pooh and perhaps try to detail out how he faced that moment of growing up, what his experience of growing up was, what his childhood was like, and how at the end it kind of all came together. So that is something that we can look at as well. And the last part of your unit or your lesson for the day is to write antonyms of the words which were provided in your word bank. So again, this is open to interpretation, this is open to you, whatever makes most sense. It's a good idea to make use of a dictionary, make use of a thesaurus if you need. Ask mummy, ask anyone else, ask a teacher, and perhaps then you will be able to best understand and work on this. But of course, make use of your own intellect also, use your own discretion, and I'm sure you'll do a wonderful job. Just to conclude, I have a little bit of a research task. Perhaps I've already given lots of research tasks, but please bear with me just one more. Please look up the poem by Shakespeare. It's not really a poem, it's part of his play As You Like It, and it is where Jack talks about the 7 stages of man, and it's a very interesting look at aging. And the way he starts, Shakespeare starts off, is that the first stage of man is infancy, where a person is completely oblivious to his surrounding, quite innocent. And it's very interesting that he wraps up that little exploration with the last stage of man, which is very similar to the first stage, of how at your deathbed perhaps you are nothing but a child. So I hope you found that very interesting. I hope you like your task for today. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.